Hey y'all, welcome to your Bread for Today podcast. I'm your host, Tonisha Russell, and your bread for today, go in your own strength. So, I have been obsessing for the last, 27 days, because January just started, about like health and wellness and what it means to be strong, right? Physically in my body, but also like mentally and all of these different things. And so for the last 27 days, I've been trying to do my own kind of inventory and taking stock because it's what I do. I'm a overanalyzer. I'm an overthinker. I'm not going to fault myself for that anymore. And that's actually tied to what I want to talk about today, right? So, doing this health inventory thing, like where can I be stronger? Where can I be more physically fit? And I kept coming back to this scripture in the Bible that reads essentially, it's a story of this guy named Gideon. And so God had taken the land, and then eventually he's like, go get the land back because God be doing some stuff. But he's like, go get the land back. And Gideon's like, I can't do it. And God says to Gideon, go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hands. Am I not sending you? And that's Judges chapter 6, verse 14. If you want to go look it up, read the story of Gideon. It's a really good story. But it's crazy because that's always, and typically rather, how it happens, right? It's like we're looking to this person to help us, and we need to read this book, and I need more knowledge, and I have to acquire all of these things. And that's not the way that it's going to go down, right? Go in the strength you already have, because whatever you believe, right? Like I believe God, right? So God is sending me to these different places. So I have to go in the strength that I already have, because there is nothing else, right? Like you can read all the books you want to read. You can study all the things you need to study, but at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself enough to make the changes and live the lifestyle that you want to live. And also, if you are watching this, shout out to Lady Jen Hammock for my mommy strength tea, right? This is one of the strengths that I have. I have my mommy strength, and I have to like muster that up every single day because being a mom is a lot. It's overwhelming. It's excruciatingly joyful. I'll say that, right? And it takes a level of strength that a lot of people oftentimes don't want to talk about. But even in that, right? Like, I'm not trying to be a mother in someone else's strength. I'm not trying to be a mother in comparison to this mom or whatever, right? I'm trying to be a mom in the strength that I have. So that means I succeed and I fail and I succeed and I get it better and all of these different things day by day, one day at a time. That's all we're doing here, folks. But all of that to say, right? Whatever you're endeavoring to do, wherever you want to be, go in the strength that you already have, right? And it feels like, or at least it has for me for these last 27 days, that the efforts that I'm making are not working, right? And that I'm questioning myself, right? Tonisha, are you even worthy of the task before you? If you even know what the task is, because for like a lot of my life, I didn't know what the task was. But on my daily walks now, because I'm trying to get my health back to where I feel like it should be. And that includes just simply going for a walk every day when it's not raining or whatever the weather and conditions permit. But I am back to the place where I actually know what the task is before me with a clarity that had not been present for so very long. And so now my task is just to reconcile, right? Like I know what I'm supposed to be doing, or not even necessarily what I'm supposed to be doing, but I feel like I'm at a place where I see a task for me and I want to meet the objectives of that task. But also, it's like, but do I have enough strength to do it? Can I accomplish this thing? Right? Overthinking, over evaluating, overestimating the severity of the thing, because we do that too, right? It's like, oh, this thing is so important. Like, I meet so many people who say, I want to change the world. And I'm just like, for what? Right? Like, why do you want to change the whole entire world? Like, your world, your little physical world, right? The world that you inhabit, the space that you inhabit, the block that you inhabit, the people in your circle. Like, that's a lot. That is a lot of people, and by extension, right? And if you get a chance, look up another scripture. It's Ezekiel 36:8-11, but it just talks about like increasing the people who are going to live off of you, right? So like that's what I'm trying to manifest right now in my life, right? Like if that is the promise, right? What does it look like to position myself so that other folks can, live off my land essentially? And I think that that has happened for me because I'm seeing, right, like my ability to help people in my own strength, right? It's not like I have to have tons of money. It's not like I have to have tons of resources, right? But that which I do have has been beneficial to the people who have encountered me, who I have encountered, right? But I was hoping for this magical change, right? Like January came, and even I literally said this in my last podcast episode that, once 2021 gets here, it's not like it's going to be bada bing, bada boom, poof, new life, right? And I know this, right? Like I know it in my literal understanding and my conscious understanding of that, but also was like hoping that like a little fairy would like wave some dust and some things would shift, right? Some things would change, because I'm like, okay, God, I already surrendered to you. I made this transition. I moved from everything that was comfortable to me. So now what? What is the next step, right? And so immediately my survival patterns, the way that I grew up, my trauma, all of those different things coalesced to say, Tonisha, you need another skill set. Tonisha, you need to be better at this. Tonisha, clearly things are not opening up for you. The doors are not opening up, right? Quote unquote. Because you are not prepared, because you don't have enough strength. And that obviously is a lie, because everything that I need is already inside of me. I wholeheartedly believe that. But also because like how much more right? How much more am I really going to do, to achieve, to accomplish, to get to the next, right? The quote unquote next, whatever that even looks like. And do I even know what that looks like? Side note, my husband believes that, and he might edit this out, my husband believes that, women essentially are insatiable, right? Like it's nothing you can do to satisfy us. And as soon as we get the thing that we claim we want, there will be something else, right? And I would submit that that's most people, first of all. Secondly, that's not me, because I'm like, I know when I see it, right? Like when I'm satisfied, everyone will be notified. But we still got a little bit more work to do. That's just where we are. But are you in that place where you're like, oh man, I got that thing, bada bing, bada boom, but I need to be on to the next thing down, right? Not even sitting comfortably in the thing that you thought you wanted, right? It's a new year, so new changes, all of these things. Now what, right? Nothing magically changed, but I feel like I've been secretly or subconsciously hoping for something, a spark, uh, you know, a rainbow, some kind of sign, something, right? But that's not going to happen. And the caveat here, or the problem, or the conflict, if you will, excuse me, was that I was looking outside of myself to make it happen. And not like I was like relying on an external source that wasn't going to get me to where I needed to be, right? But and it wasn't even a comparison trap thing this time. Woo, woo, I think I'm growing in terms of that. But it was just like, I didn't feel like, not that I wasn't enough, right? Because we've tackled that, right? We checking things off the boxes in 2021, y'all. Okay. But that inherently, not even inherently, but that somebody else could clearly do it better, and so that's why they're doing it better, and so what should I even, right? Like we're deading that in 2021. So y'all got to hold me accountable to the me feeling like I don't have enough strength, but I know that I do, right? I know that I have enough strength. I know that I have everything that I need. And I was looking backwards, right? Allowing that which I was accustomed to kind of creep back in. You get comfortable, right? In the progress possibly that you have made. And it's not about productivity. I want to be clear about that, right? It's not about get to a place that feel like you need to be more productive, or get to a place and get super comfortable. I was, as is my tendency, right, relying on my survival patterns, right, telling myself, okay, the way that this needs to be done is through study, and right. But that's not how it's going to unfold, right? All the people that I need will be where I need them to be when I need them to be. My task is to just keep moving, to keep going, and to rely on the strength that I already have, because I believe that God is sending me, because I believe that this is not of my own doing, of my own volition. But old habits, they die hard. I'm used to sabotaging myself and always saying, this, my dear, it's just too good to be true. But also, I'm in a place where I'm trying to do something new, right? We're trying something new. We've already declared that we're trying something new. So something new for me looks like not sabotaging, not saying, ooh, this feels really good. You can't hold on to it that long, right? Ooh, this feels so good. Let me figure out a way to make it uncomfortable. But I caught myself. That is a testament, a true testament, y'all, to what I believe to be my growth. Because instead of just wallowing in that and going back and going online and looking up classes and la 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 la, right? I reminded myself that I have been brought out of the proverbial like Egypt, if you will, right? Like we're not wandering around in this wilderness no more. Like we've done that thing, right? We've wandered and we've wandered. We've looked back. We've seen pillars of salt. We've seen, right? Like, but where we are now is a getting rid of that stinking thinking that has become so familiar, right? All of the because all of those things, all that is about familiarity. And I'm moving my shoulders back right now because it's like, even just thinking about it, it's like, okay, Tony, you should just relax yourself, like it's okay to just sit in this chair and not, right? And just to receive, right? Let go of the loose cannon, right? The shooting off at the mouth, just catting off, just being ridiculous, right? The hopelessness, the despair, the like, because I can get in my own way. And I'm writing a little short essay about that right now, about how I got to get up out of my own way. And these things sound easy enough. I'm sure they do, because I'm sure a bunch of the listeners out there have perfected the getting out of your own way, all of the things you guys are like mastering. But I appreciate you being on this journey with me, because I have not mastered it. I am still a work in progress. And for somebody maybe who's tagging along with me, right? Getting out of their own way is a thing that they need to do as well. But that's what my brain has been trained to do, right? It's fight or flight. It's like, this is really uncomfortable. Let me flee this situation because I can't sustain it, right? This is me identifying with my traumas in a way that was comfortable then. So now I'm trying to do a different thing in terms of what it means to identify with my trauma, right? Because I've been brought out of, like I said, out of my proverbial Egypt. I am not in bondage anymore. I have the tools that I need to do the thing that I need to do, and I can do it in my own strength. You see how I brought that back around. But yes, brought out of that place. And while this place that I'm in is still very uncomfortable, it is less uncomfortable, I guess, than it's even more comfortable, right? Than being back in that old place, that place that kept me stagnant, that place that kept me, just tied to things will always be this way. That was just a place. It wasn't even a bad place, right? It was the place that I needed to be in to get me to the place where I'm going now. And all of these places and all of this sounds super abstract, right? But I'm learning, I think, that in that old strength, right? The posture of survival, when your fists are clenched, when you're holding on to something because you don't know when you're going to get the next thing. Once you are able to free yourself of that, right? It opens up so many more possibilities. And I say that all the time. But the whole point of all of this is just to say that whatever strength, right? Whatever bit of strength you have today, because that's what this is, right? You only need enough for today. Whatever strength you have for today to get you to do a thing. Because I have been procrastinating too. And folks who know me know I don't be procrastinating because that's just not I'm not like a pull an all-nighter kind of girl. Like, I don't have the capacity for that because I just don't. Like, I've never been like that. Even when I was in college, I get this is a 10-page paper, it's due when? Okay, let me work on this because then I still got to revise, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not a pull an all-nighter kind of girl. I'm not like a struggle through it, let's procrastinate to the last minute, right? Like, I don't have that capacity. And so I have to believe that the strength, like, right, because I'm not going to muster it up, right? I'm not going to summon all of this strength to get certain things done. So how can I pace myself in the strength that I have? Because this is a strength that is unique to me. It's not for anyone else. And so everybody has a strength that they have, and that is what they have to contend with, right? That's what they have to deal with. That's what you have to work through and accept about yourself. Because if you don't, then you're just all over the place. How am I making sense of all of this? I have, like I said earlier, been back on my fitness journey. I've been back to working out. I've been, getting up. I be tired, y'all. I be so tired. But back to working out. So admittedly, though, I don't have all the supplies, as my friend calls them. She calls them supplies. Like, I don't have all the supplies that would make me like a pro at this fitness thing, right? I have a couple dumbbells. I have a mat. It's a really thick, nice mat that my husband got me. Shout out to Sam. He be listening to me sometimes. But I don't have 3 sets of weights or, the bands. I don't have all that. I got like a set of dumbbells and a mat because I'm like, I got to start somewhere, right? So there obviously are exercises on my videos that require me to use the dumbbells. But for the most part, like if it's like a row or something where I need a lighter weight than they are suggesting, I then just have to use my body weight, right? When I don't have the necessary equipment, I have to use my body weight, the strength that I already have that has no additions to it to complete the task, to complete the exercise. And that, even just this morning, as I was working out, was such a revelation to me because it's like, because sometimes you feel like, oh, I only have a size 5 dumbbell, a size 10 dumbbell, or I only have a 2, right? I'm hoping to get to a 10, but I'm not there yet. But this exercise, this assignment, this task calls for what I have, right? This calls for a certain thing that I don't have, This calls for a certain thing I don't have. Or maybe you don't have any dumbbells at all, but it's like, oh, if you want to add a resistance or pressure or whatever. but you are stuck and back to using your own body weight to accomplish the task. And that is perfectly fine, right? Because you have, if you're an adult, you have at least 100, right? At least 100, 115 pounds on you, not to mention the added weight, right, of whatever is weighing heavy on you that you're trying to get off through the exercise, through the walking, through the resistance, right? All of that is included in the resistance that you're using to strengthen yourself. So it's never a matter of if you have enough weight, if you have enough pressure, if you have the proper weight and pressure, right? Because that's a whole nother story. But you have your body weight. If you don't have anything else, right? You have the strength. You try to do a push-up, right? 160-pound push-up, right? It's not, if you've not done push-ups consistently before, right? If you have no prior knowledge of the push-up, if you are not used to doing it, right? Gideon wasn't used to being the one favorite out front. You gonna go and retrieve this whole land, right? Like, that's like, whoa, hey God, I wasn't even trying to do that today. Like, I wasn't trying to do that. But that wasn't and that wasn't even the whole world. That's the thing, right? Like, like I said, we want to save the whole world, and I just want to leave my mark on the world. And it's just like, can you just save this little community that I've called you to? Because that's all. It's billions of people in this world. You don't need. You got your little space, right? You have your own strength, your own set of circumstances, your own body weight that you have to contend with. So go in that strength. So if you never buy another dumbbell, right? If you never add any more weights, at some point you grow, you mature, you get the things that you need. But if you don't have that right now, you have your body weight that gives you resistance, right? Like, we're resisting ourselves at all times, right? We, whether it's like to like control yourself, right? Maybe it's about self-control. Maybe it's about external control. Maybe it's about an internal kind of thing that you're wrestling it with. Whatever the thing is that it's causing the resistance, right? Or whatever it is that you're working towards or against, right? You have the strength that you need, right? Because you keep doing push-ups with just your body weight, you're going to get stronger. It's inevitable, right? Like, even if you are only gaining ounces or losing ounces of mass or whatever your goals are, if you have to begin with just your body weight, that will be enough, because you get to go in your own strength. You get to create your own kind of resistance that's going to help you to get stronger and build more muscle. And then you can start going to those external supplies, right? Adding in the dumbbells, bringing in the outside factors that are going to help you get even more stronger. But for now, or even more strong. But for now, go in the strength that you already have. Use your body weight, right? Build the muscle in your legs, in your arms, in your core, in your neck, right? In your hands, right? All the exercises where you can just use your body weight to accomplish the task. And then you can start adding more weight, more pressure, right? More resistance. For now, you have all the equipment that you need to get the task done. So I think that's all I got for you today, folks. Not a lot going on. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Watch my lovely face on the videos if you get a chance, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Tonisha Russell. Your bread for today is to go in your own strength. That's where they go.